And I think if we can identify the patterns instead of recognizing the wrongdoings, then we can really change the whole system. We scare people to tell them that they're sick. We scare people to tell them that they're ill or they're wired incorrectly. But if we can just identify the pattern and address it and try to change the pattern instead of trying to change the person, what the brain's doing, then I think that we'll have, a lot more success.
Can you share some of the barriers you faced?
All of them. The barriers that I face with this specifically is it's a brand new model, right? So your people in the hospital know the way the hospital works. The people in the outpatient clinics know how the outpatient clinics work. And this space is brand new, and it's a conjoined baby of both. So you're taking hospital workers who understand, a whole bunch of different capacities of critical thinking and high acuities and such. And you're taking them, you're bringing them to the outpatient community, and we're trying to understand billing and understand how to speak to people in the outpatient world. And they've never worked with people of a higher level in the hospital system, to where I think the biggest barrier, and really it's probably the thing that's kept me the most sane, is knowing there's huge communication barriers. Like you and I can sit here all day and I'll be like, the orange is yellow. And you'll be like, yep, the orange is yellow. And the orange is yellow. And I know the orange is yellow. But it's two completely separate worlds. And until you show me what you're talking about and I show you what I'm talking about, then we're never going to get past this barrier. Right. Okay. So that's the biggest thing that I've learned. I was talking to my veteran liaison the other day. She's like, this is driving me crazy. I was like, I got it. Communication barrier. But I think that's the piece of it. And, and I think the common language, honestly, Tim, needs to be the brain, period. A lot of us think that it is neurologic. A lot of us think that it's spiritual. A lot of us think that it's psychologic or psychiatric or whatever we want to, or therapeutic or whatever we want to say, or that it's neurotransmitters or it's hormones. And it's like, why can't we just say that it's all, guys? Why can't we just look at it and say the brain is spiritual, the brain is medicative, the brain does have anatomy, it does have physiology, it does have structures that work together and structures that don't work together. And there are communication techniques and actions and behaviors that are all symbiotic of this relationship that we have in our brain. And to say that, we've not ever thought of it that way. And, and that's why, like, even when I talk to investors with my company, they're like, you're getting too spread out. And I'm like, no, it's the brain. It's one structure. You got to look at all these pieces. So I think that's one of the biggest barriers. And two, healthcare in the United States is the largest, right? It's the largest system in the world to be creating a new system in, which is slightly difficult. But I would say the biggest barrier is us trying to understand the brain is the godfather. Everything else underneath it is secondary. Addiction secondary, mental health is secondary, pain secondary, neurodegeneration secondary. But somehow we've gotten to our mindset that addiction was the godfather and the brain fell second. And that's not true. None of that's true. Right. So if we can look at it here and then look at, okay, under here, how do we all work together? Because for some reason we may go through the same situation. I may have more mental health effects. You may have more pain effects. We don't know why, but we know that the primary person is the brain who's constructing all of these. So there's a way that we can, pull the world together to look at the brain. I think that we would make a bigger impact.
Okay. I like it. So what are the top misconceptions about psychedelics?
To get a free copy of the 12-step guide that I created for you, click on the link in the description below.
That only people who do drugs use them. I think that's a big piece, everybody goes back to the 70s. Everybody's like, oh, you do psychedelics, you're just a hippie, and so therefore if we think it's hippie, then we just disregard in the medical community. And, two, if we look at any drug for any type of condition, we look at that as you're weak in the medical community. So I think with psychedelics, when you hear the term, one, it's just a scary term when people first hear it until they can really start to understand it more. But the other piece is, if we can start attaching the term and say, show me, instead of saying no, then we're opening the doors to learn. And I think that's a piece that really bothers me is we all feel that we're such experts, all of us. If we've lived it, if we haven't lived it, we went to school for 20 years, we didn't go to school. We all just feel like we're experts and we can see it. And it's in a box that only we can see and it's only our experience. So, I think the more that we can be open and we understand that the brain's an organ too, it's not nearly as eclectic as we all think it is. It's very complex. But neurologically speaking, it follows a pattern. And I think if we can identify the patterns instead of recognizing the wrongdoings, then we can really change the whole system. We scare people to tell them that they're sick. We scare people to tell them that they're ill or they're wired incorrectly. But if we can just identify the pattern and address it and try to change the pattern instead of trying to change the person, what the brain's doing, then I think that we'll have, a lot more success.
I like it. Where do you see your business in the next 5 years?
I don't know. Next 5 years, we've created some curriculums. So we made a global curriculum called Comprehensive Consciousness. And that, so, really, I do really enjoy helping people with ketamine. I think it's literally a lifesaver. I think psychedelics are going to come to fruition, hopefully quicker than 2035, which I saw the other day, which hopefully to God, it wouldn't take that long for it to happen, but who knows? But yeah, so really, in 5 years, I would hope that we were able to help people learn how to understand themselves better and, really learn how to, not only understand themselves better, but then to also understand how to help themselves better. So that's kind of where I would like to see my company grow into, is kind of being a lead in, walking with the person, advocating for the person, and really, having more of a global presence during that time.
If you got value from this video, if you heard what you needed to hear, be sure to like it. Comment if you've got a question or you have something to say. Subscribe to the channel. Camelback Recovery provides treatment services for people struggling with mental health, mental illness, addiction, alcoholism, whatever it may be. So if you or a loved one is struggling and you need some guidance and you need some direction, reach out to us. Our contact information is down below, or you can go to our website, camelbackrecovery.com, whether it be detox, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, sober living, recovery coaching, sober companion services, whatever it may be. Like I said, we can either help you or make sure that you get sent in the right direction. We help people all over the country, all over the world for that matter. I'll see you on the next video.